Everything you've got to do is just prove that you can support yourself in Spain. Have a bank account, have a place to live, that could be even a rented place or ideally a place that you own. And as long as you can support yourself in Spain and you're not going to become kind of an illegal immigrant as a charge for the system,
stunting off the state,
you can perfectly apply and obtain your permanent residency.
We need to talk about Brexit, Miguel. It's been going on for years. You're sick of it, I'm sick of it. What do UK buyers of Spanish property need to know? I mean, we've been talking to clients on the phone and in person. We've now passed the deadline of the 31st of December 2020, so we're very early into this new relationship that the UK has with the EU. I'm guessing that nothing has changed insofar as UK residents can still buy property in Spain. There's nothing stopping them buying a property here. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But a few things have changed, mainly to do with the rights that they have to stay here and the length of time they're allowed to do that. And then there's also a few little tax issues, aren't there, that we need to address as well. So first of all, what has changed with regards to the rights of UK citizens to spend time here in Spain? So say someone's bought a holiday home and they've been spending all summer here or all winter here, or are they still allowed to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think actually there is a lot to do. There is a huge homework that had to be done by the politicians, by the regulators, legislation to be produced, that it didn't happen actually. Yeah. It's been days and weeks passing and approaching to the end of the year, knowing that the end of the year was going to be the Brexit, and a lot of things to be legislated in a normal way that didn't happen actually. And then here we are, that the Brexit means that the British are no longer treated, cannot be no longer treated as a European citizen. But no legislation is in place yet for many fields, right? So the situation today is that British can perfectly come over and can spend days. In theory, if as a non-European citizen, you can spend 90 days every half of the year, and 90 days another half of the year. But this has not been regulated yet.
So it hasn't been legalized yet. So there's no. So right now at this moment, they're not, stamping passports and seeing when you've been in, seeing when you've come out. And do you think there's going to be any deal on that? I mean, I know you're not a politician, but I know you're a very well connected guy. But far better connected than I am in terms of the Spanish people. But do you think they want a deal with the UK where people will be able to extend their stays? Because at the moment they're talking about visa-free travel. You don't need a visa, you just come in with your passport, but after 90 days in a 180-day period, you have to go again. Can you see that changing?
I think so. The thing is, I would like to see this changing quickly, because there is nothing worse than the legal insecurity, where people cannot really know exactly under what type of rules you've got to live, and you've got to make your plans of your family, right? Yeah. And they really expect the politicians to finally decide about regulating this kind of vague area that they have abandoned the citizens and now start to regulate. And start to regulate in a way similar to Swiss people, that they are free to travel to Spain and spend here as many days as they like without any restrictions. Are they members of European Union? No. And same thing with Norway. Norway is not a country of the European Union, but they are free to come, to stay without any restrictions. And those 90 days that do apply for someone from, America or Colombia, Argentina, that they are free to stay here 90 days, every block of 180 days, that they automatically have been applying and governing the rules for the British, just simply because the authorities didn't stop to regulate something within the months of September, October, November, up to a point in which on the 1st of January, everybody was traveling with very clear and written rules about how much time to spend. No, nobody has been doing that within the final months of 2020. And consequently, because nothing is regulated, we are assuming that a British can spend as much time in Spain as any Argentinian person that travels to Spain. But the common sense tells me that one day the politicians will sit to regulate what had to be regulated before, and UK and Spain have been countries with very strong links, and many British live in Spain permanently. Many Spanish people live. Of course, a working permit is a different thing to get a working permit, but to live and enjoy Spain.
So retire here, for instance,
like any Swiss, I believe that should be like any Swiss person or like anybody coming from Norway. That should be common sense.
So we at the moment the rule, although it's we've fallen into this new rule, is that it's 90 days. You're allowed to come here for 90 days within a 180-day period.
Correct.
But we are thinking that there may be movement on that for people who want to come and maybe retire here, live here full time, although we're not sure about the work permit situation, whether that will apply. Because obviously people who want to come here on holiday from the UK, absolutely fine, nothing changes. Maybe spend a bit more for your mobile calls and stuff like that. For people who want to come here and use their holiday home for 3 or 4 weeks or even a month, no problem, nothing changes. It's for people who want to move here permanently that the changes are perhaps going to affect them most. Because at the moment, according to the new rules, you're not allowed to. We expect that maybe to be loosened, but the one thing that might be a stumbling block is if people want to come here and work, new people who haven't been here up until the end of the transition period. So we're still in a state of flux, and I imagine we'll talk about this again at some point in 2021. Have you noticed any sort of reaction from British buyers? Because I don't know how you've noticed, but over the last few years we've had times when British buyers have been interested in buying here, and then they've gone quiet because of something announced in London or something announced by the EU. Now I think people are reconciled to the fact that things have changed, but it's not all bad, that you can still come here, you can still travel here. Have you noticed any change in attitude from British clients?
Honestly, I have seen no changes. No changes. Maybe because the law firm, the field of the law that we operate, and the Marbella is a location, Costa del Sol is a location where people are not expecting to come over to work for a company. They're expecting to come over to have a second home that they can spend a few weeks in the year for vacations and moving. And some people they are thinking maybe to become a resident in Spain in the future, to run a business, or to do something different. There are really formulas that they are giving the possibility for a British person, even considering that the British person is as non-European at all. There are formulas to become resident as long as you can support, for example, if you want to do a non-lucrative residency, if you want to become a resident in Spain just to enjoy Spain, everything you've got to do is just prove that you can support yourself in Spain. Have a bank account, have a place to live, that could be even a rented place or ideally a place that you own. And as long as you can support yourself in Spain and you're not going to become kind of an illegal immigrant as a charge for the system,
sponging off the state,
you can perfectly apply and obtain your permanent residency. So therefore...
Is that feasible though? I mean, is that...
Absolutely. The thing is, this implies a commitment, a responsibility, because if you want to become resident, it's because you are expecting to spend in Spain more than 183 days a year. Mm-hmm. If you really want to apply that residency, you are committing yourself to spend longer than 183 days a year. If you are not, you can still use the system that applies at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
90 days and 90 days.
Yeah.
So if you want to stay in Spain longer, you can apply this. It's quite a straightforward process that we didn't do actually with the UK for many years because that wasn't necessary, and but can perfectly be applied and will be obtained without any problem.
Do you have to pass any exams or anything like that?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Just the having a clean criminal record and having health exams and having a health insurance as well in Spain. The application. Then you got to prove that you can support yourself in Spain. You have a bank account, you have a place to live, ideally owned place.
What happens if you want to come here and set up a business? So you have a great idea and you think the Spanish people would be perfect as customers for this. Can you do that?
You can perfectly do that.
As long as you can. Obviously, you're not relying on any state aid.
You have to put together a business plan that you present with this. You say because that first. The first category that I have been explaining is the category of someone willing to live in Spain as a retired person, enjoying Spain, because that is one category, and the other category is that when you are really willing to run a business in Spain. So therefore you have to present as well a business plan, business plan of what you are willing to do in Spain.
But would you need to have any fixed amount of assets in your cash in your bank account here, or would you need to say I have 100,000 euros? Here you are.
Yeah, you have, to say that you can support yourself in Spain is going. That depends, right? But then you have to have a bank account with recommendable 50,000 euros,
or an income from somewhere,
or an income where you can justify regular income that can support you and your family. Yeah.
Another route. Am I correct? Obviously, we have a golden visa system here in Spain, which is for non-EU nationals who want to settle here. Would that also apply to the UK now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
But the proviso for that is that they need to invest a minimum of 500,000 euros. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
We in the law business in the law field of the economy, none of us was expecting to be at the beginning of January of 2021 thinking about doing a golden visa for British. And without any regulation before, because as I was thinking always that in the end, on the second middle of 2020, authorities were about to sit together and then regulating in a similar way like Swiss or Norwegian people to put together a system in which you don't have to apply the golden visa. But as nothing was done on 2020, the reality is that you can apply a golden visa.
Okay.
If you acquired a property from September 13 and the property or properties are exceeding 500,000 euros in value, you can apply the golden visa, which gives you the golden visa is badly named visa because it's not a visa actually, it's a residency. The name is residency for investors. Okay. So if you are investing in shares or in government bonds or in properties up to certain capital, then you will apply and you will get the residency in Spain. In properties, it's 500,000 euros.
We're going to do a separate little video about golden visas, but what's interesting for me to know is that you can actually retrospectively apply it to any properties bought after September 13.
Correct.
So 2013. So that might be suitable for people who bought something after that date, looking forward to retiring, didn't get round to applying for Spanish residency, but now have an opportunity to do so via the golden visa.
Correct.
What about tax? There's been some mention of taxes, because obviously the UK is no longer part of the EU, that there are two different tax arrangements that Spain has, one with EU members and one with non-EU members. And I know there's some legal challenges to this from Brussels saying that it's not fair, that Spain needs to come into line and charge the same to both categories of people. But again, because we've fallen into this gap and new rules have automatically been applied, is there a difference now in the tax that British people are going to have to pay if they own a property here?
Yes, it's mainly there is a tax that you pay in this country is a bit higher than you used to pay when they were members of the European Union, right? But there is something important. You pay your taxes in the country that you are resident.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you are resident in the UK, you pay your taxes in the UK.
Yeah.
The thing is, you can sometimes generate incomes in Spain.
Mm-hmm. So if you're renting a property,
if you're renting a property, or you are doing one specific business in Spain, the thing is, Spain was treating this with 19% tax rate. 19% was a tax that you paid to the Spanish tax authorities, but according to the double convention in between UK and Spain, that 19% that you have paid in Spain, you can use against your income tax declarations in the UK, like accountable, fully accountable, and that's 19. The thing is, now we still have that double convention, UK and Spain. This hasn't been terminated because of the fact that UK is not a member anymore of the European Union. No, that is absolutely in place and is enforced. So that double convention says that every tax you pay in Spain is still accountable for my accountants or tax advisors in the UK. The thing is, they used to pay 19% in Spain in account of the taxes, and now they have to pay 24%.
Okay.
So the rate is higher when you pay in advance in Spain, but is fully accountable. So yes, you pay more in Spain, but whenever you go to your tax advisor in the UK to do your forms and your taxes, they will say, okay, you have paid a bit more in Spain already, but it's not gone money, it's not wasted money. It's the money that you have paid in account of your taxes in the UK. So the difference, if any, it will be less because you have paid more in Spain.
So you can use that to reduce your...
Exactly. Okay. So let's say if the taxes in the UK were 25%, then you used to pay 19% in Spain and the other 6% in the UK. Now that you are not a EU member anymore, you pay in Spain 24%, and then the difference in the UK will be just 1%.
Gotcha. That's very helpful indeed.